Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2785 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. The title for today's Wisdom Trek is The Divine Cartography. God Claims His Geography. Today we are back on the trail, continuing our exploration of the Warrior Poets remix, Psalm 108. We are trekking through the middle section, verses 6 through 9 in the New Living Translation. In our previous trek through the first 5 verses of this psalm, we heard the sound of a fixed heart. We watched King David wake the dawn with his lyre and declare that God's love is higher than the heavens. We saw him take an old song of lament from Psalm 57 and remix it into a new anthem of confidence. He ended that section with a cosmic prayer. Be exalted, O God, above the highest heavens. May your glory shine over all the earth. Today, the scene shifts from the cosmic to the concrete. David moves from singing about the stars to looking at a map. He moves from the heavens to the dirt and rock of the Middle East. In verses 6 through 9, we hear God himself speak. It is a divine oracle spoken from the holy sanctuary. In this oracle, Yahweh acts like a victorious general standing over a map of the ancient Near East. He points to specific territories, Shechem, Succoth, Gilead, Moab, Edom, Philistia, and claims them as his own. He essentially says, this belongs to me, and this belongs to me. And that over there, that is just my wash basin. This is a powerful assertion of divine ownership. In the ancient Israelite worldview, where nations were believed to be owned by their respective gods, Chemosh for Moab, Milcom for Ammon, Yahweh is declaring that he is the landlord of everything. He is redrawing the borders and reclaiming the inheritance for his people. So, let us stand in the war room and listen to the strategy of the king. The first segment is the prayer for rescue, the right hand of power. Psalm 108, verse 6. Now rescue your beloved people. Answer and save us by your power. Before the oracle begins, David offers a short, sharp prayer. This acts as the bridge between the praise of the first 5 verses and the prophecy that follows. Now rescue your beloved people. Answer and save us by your power. The literal Hebrew here is quite evocative. That your beloved ones may be delivered. Save with your right hand and answer me. First, notice the identity of the people. David calls them your beloved people, Yedidecha. This comes from the same root as the name Jedediah, which was Solomon's name given by God, meaning beloved of Yahweh. This is crucial for our confidence in prayer. David doesn't appeal to God based on Israel's military strength or their moral perfection. He appeals to God's affection. Lord, these are the ones you love. Therefore, rescue them. Second, notice the method of rescue. By your power, literally, your right hand. In the ancient world, the right hand was the symbol of active power, military strength, and authority. It was the hand that held the sword or the scepter. By asking God to save with his right hand, David is asking for a tangible intervention. He doesn't just want a feeling of peace, he wants a victory on the field. And God answers immediately. Verse 7 begins the response. The second segment is the divine oracle, the shout of the warrior God. Psalm 108, verse 7. God has promised this by his holiness. I will rejoice and divide into portions the land of Shechem and the valley of Succoth. The voice changes here. It is no longer David speaking to God. It is God speaking to the assembly. God has promised this by his holiness. Or, God has spoken in his sanctuary. Because God swears by his holiness, Kodesh, the promise is irrevocable. God's holiness is his otherness, his absolute separation from sin and falsehood. He cannot lie. If he says he will divide the land is as good as divided. And what is the mood of God? I will rejoice, or I will exult. This is the picture of a victorious warrior returning from battle, or a father distributing an inheritance. He is happy to do this. And divide into portions the land of Shechem and the valley of Succoth. Let's look at the geography here. Shechem is located west of the Jordan River in the heart of the Promised Land. It has deep historical significance. It was the first place Abraham stopped when he entered Canaan, Genesis 12. It was where Jacob bought land. It was where Joseph was buried. It represents the core of the inheritance. Succoth is located east of the Jordan River. It is where Jacob built shelters for his livestock, Genesis 33. By mentioning these 2 specific locations, one west, one east, God is laying claim to the entirety of the land on both sides of the Jordan. He is saying, from the west bank to the east bank, I am the one who holds the measuring line. I decide who gets what portion. This is a direct challenge to the surrounding nations who were constantly trying to encroach on Israel's borders. God asserts that the land is his to distribute, not theirs to seize. The third segment is the core inheritance: Gilead, Manasseh, Ephraim, and Judah. Psalm 108, verse 8. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim is my helmet, and Judah is my scepter. God continues his inventory of the land. He moves from specific cities to larger tribal territories. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Gilead refers to the mountainous region east of the Jordan, rugged, pastoral land. Manasseh was a massive tribe that spanned both sides of the river. The repetition of "is mine li" is emphatic. In a world where territorial spirits, the Shadim, or demons we discussed in Psalm 106, claimed ownership of nations, Yahweh is planting his flag. He is saying, "These mountains belong to me. These people belong to me." Then, he assigns specific military and political roles to the two major tribes of the West. Ephraim is my helmet. Literally, Ephraim is the strength of my head. Ephraim was a dominant tribe of the northern region. It was populous, powerful, and warlike. Joshua was an Ephraimite. Later, the northern kingdom would often just be called Ephraim. God calls Ephraim his helmet. This is military imagery. Ephraim provides the defense. They are the shock troops of Yahweh's army. God values their strength and uses it for his protection of the land. And Judah is my scepter, or lawgiver. Judah was the southern tribe, the tribe of David. In Genesis 49, Jacob prophesied, "The scepter will not depart from Judah." While Ephraim is the muscle, the helmet, Judah is the authority, the scepter, commander's staff. Judah provides the leadership, the kingship, and the legal framework for the nation. This verse presents a beautiful picture of unity. The north Ephraim and the south Judah, which were often rivals and would later split into two kingdoms, are here united in God's hand. He needs both, the helmet and the scepter. He needs both strength and authority to rule his kingdom. The fourth segment is the subjugation of the enemies, wash basins and footstools. Psalm 108, verse 9. Moab is my wash basin. I will wipe my feet on Edom and shout in triumph over Philistia. Now, the tone changes dramatically. God looks beyond the borders of Israel to the hostile neighboring nations, Moab, Edom, and Philistia. These were the traditional enemies of Israel, but God does not describe them as terrifying threats. He describes them as household servants. He uses metaphors of extreme humiliation to show his absolute dominance over them. Moab is my wash basin. Moab was located east of the Dead Sea. The Moabites were often proud and troublesome, but God calls them his wash basin, or washpot. In the ancient world, the wash basin was a lowly vessel used to wash dirty feet after a journey. It was a place for filth. By calling Moab his wash basin, God is reducing their national pride to zero. He is saying, "Moab is where I wash up after the battle." It implies servitude and insignificance. I will wipe my feet on Edom. Edom, descendants of Esau, lived to the southeast. The phrase literally means, "Upon Edom I will cast my shoe." There are two ways to interpret casting the shoe. 1. Ownership. In ancient legal custom, walking on land or casting a sandal on it was a way of claiming title to the property. God is saying, "Edom is my property." 2. Servitude. A slave carried the master's sandals. By throwing his shoe at Edom, God is treating Edom like the household slave, whose job is to catch the dirty sandals and clean them. Given the context of the wash basin, the second meaning is likely primary. Edom, the proud nation that lived in the rocks, Petra, is reduced to the role of a valet. And shout in triumph over Philistia. Philistia, the Philistines, lived on the western coast. They were the archenemies of David. Goliath was a Philistine. God says, "Over Philistia I will shout." This is the war cry, teruah, of the victor standing over the vanquished. It signifies total conquest. This oracle in verses 7 through 9 is breathtaking in its scope. God looks at the map. He sees his own people, Gilead, Manasseh, Ephraim, Judah, and assigns them roles of honor, helmet, scepter. He sees the enemies Moab, Edom, Philistia, and assigns them roles of dishonor, wash basin, shoe rack. This connects deeply to the divine council worldview. Remember, the nations were allotted to other gods. Chemosh ruled Moab. The gods of Edom ruled the south. Dagon ruled Philistia. When Yahweh declares, "Moab is my wash basin," he is insulting Chemosh. He is saying, "Chemosh, your territory is nothing more than a pot for my dirty water." He is stripping the rival gods of their prestige. He is asserting that there is only one true sovereign over the geography of the Middle East. Psalm 108, verses 6 through 9, teaches us to view our world through the lens of God's sovereignty. Sometimes we look at the enemy territory in our lives, the obstacles, the opposition, the things that seem to be winning, and we feel overwhelmed. We see Moab as a giant and Edom as a fortress. But God sees them differently. He sees them as wash basins and shoes. He has a plan for his people, the beloved. He has given us the strength, Ephraim, and the authority, Judah, to occupy the land he has assigned to us. So today, as you walk your trek, look at the map of your life. Are there areas where the enemy is squatting? Claim the promise of the oracle. God has spoken in his holiness. The victory is already secured. The land is his, and because you are his beloved, the inheritance is yours. Join us tomorrow as we finish this psalm and see how David takes this divine promise and turns it into a prayer for actual battle. If you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek Creating a Legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through this Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.